Happy Sunday morning, folks. We are, I guess what? We got a little snafu. Bear with me 1 minute. All right, guys. Wow. It's been quite a whirlwind past 48 hours or so for your New Jersey Devils. And I'm kind of at a loss for words. I feel like a beaten man, but I will continue. Somehow I will find a way. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the boys are heading in for a massive one today. The Flyers would love to play spoiler in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. The New Jersey Devils coming off a 6-1 drubbing at the Rock at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets after what would be considered by most an epic failure, a colossal failure of a deadline day for general manager Tom Fitzgerald and the New Jersey Devils. I am just at a super low point, as many of you know. I am fed up. I am a longtime fan. I love this team. We are now in a decade-long rebuild with no kind of relief in sight, in my opinion, but the beat goes on. I will always support the boys. I will somehow find a way to continue to finish out the season with, what do we got, 18 games left, I believe. I will ride out the season. Beyond that, who knows what the future holds, but I am a broken fan. And there's a big one today for these boys in Philadelphia. This is, like I said, I've been saying forever since this channel started, I hate calling games that are not technically a must-win, but this is as close as it gets. The standings have become super tight. That beautiful cushion that we had at the holiday break is now completely gone, and we are in a brawl of our lifetimes, a fight to the death to try to hang on to that third spot in the Metro or even claim one of the wild card spots. It's insanely tight now. We will see a much different looking lineup today, obviously, with with Glass and Sprung in the lineup. And Cholowski. Again, what are we talking about here? But lines at practice yesterday, a top line of timomeier, nicohischier, Stefan Nason. A second line of Palat, Mercer, and Bratt. A third line of Holla on the wing with Glass and Sprung. Fourth line of Tatar, Lazar, Bastian. And it's looking like Cotter and Dowling, the odd men out here. I am beyond baffled to the Paul Cotter healthy scratch. It makes zero sense to me. I do think at this juncture, Paul Cotter probably hates being here. It is what it is. He probably, I'm sure a lot of the guys hate being here, but Paul Cotter especially had an amazing start to the season. He obviously cooled off, but I do think he's been buried on that fourth line for a while. He should have got more opportunity, I think, at least on the third. It is what it is, but Paul Cotter, a healthy scratch. And in the book of general manager Tom Fitzgerald disasters, this chapter is entitled How to Turn a number 7 overall pick into a Healthy Scratch. That's the chapter of his book that we'll file this one under. But yeah, essentially four new players inserted into the lineup. 2 on defense, Dumoulin and Cholowski. And up front, you have Glass and Sprung. They might as well start engraving the Stanley Cup right now. Start engraving the cup, baby. The cup is ours. With those additions, who will stop us? Hopefully the boys play with desperation and, aren't completely deflated. I fear that the damage is done. Between the failure of a deadline, you saw them come out lifeless and get rolled by the Jets. I'm hoping there's some still fight left in them and they want to make the playoffs, but I would not be surprised if this season just completely slips away in the next week. I hope it doesn't happen, but it wouldn't shock me. This is just devastating stuff. And I know the boys love Cotter. If you've ever seen kind of the interactions with him and his teammates, he's definitely one of the energy guys in the locker room, leads the team in hits. One of the more physical forwards we have up front on a team that I believe still desperately needs a lot of physicality brought in via however. And he's scratched from the lineup. And so the hits keep coming, the head scratching decisions or indecisions continue on. And the only thing I could do is, hope that these guys somehow find a way to win. Jake Allen and net was a little surprised by that as well. I think Markey kind of got a raw deal after he came back from the injury, still yet to win a game. And I feel like Markey should have been in there today. They're going with Jake Allen. And I just hope we somehow could find a win today, but see what you guys are talking about on this Sunday morning. M says Gritsyuk is 1,000% worth signing and giving a shot at proving himself. The fact that they tried to spin this as, maybe we didn't have a good deadline, which, I don't know how they must have known for sure that the fan reaction was going to be very poor. If I'm being honest, I would say at this juncture, Devils fan morale is at an all-time low because I think now finally after last season, people are kind of starting to see this organization for what it is, and it's an unfortunate state of affairs. But, last season we were hoping to get into the playoffs in the hoping and wishing method was first debuted, not getting a goalie. We missed the playoffs. I think people were willing to kind of forgive that for whatever reason. I didn't. But I think now when the team is firmly in a playoff spot, we saw how good they were at the break. And then to watch them slowly bleed out and to slowly slip down the standings to now be on the precipice of not making the playoffs, I think most fans are fed up and done. There are still the random, maybe 20% who are what I would call just fans with the blinders on, that the organization can do no wrong and everything they do is great and everything they don't do is great. Those people are lost causes. It is what it is. I see them on X. A lot of the people on I traditionally haven't spent a lot of time on X because it makes my blood boil and continues to do so. But even on X, where a lot of times I feel like there are the people, the pom-pom wavers of how great everything is, it seems like they've lost most of that crowd as well. They still exist, but I do think the reality of what's going on has kind of now made its way across the masses, and it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But Gritsyuk, great. Hopefully he pans out. Hopefully he's a big piece of the future, but in no realistic scenario is Gritsyuk potentially coming over an excuse or a reason to not do anything at the deadline. It has nothing to do with what he did with what he did at the deadline. He should have been trying to get Gritsyuk over here regardless. So to use that as like, but we're trying to get Gritsyuk, like, give me a break. Don't insult my intelligence even further. But it continues to go on. It continues to go on. We'll have to see how the Gritsyuk situation comes out. But I don't think he could come over till their season's over, and by then, our season could be over as well. Philip Kelly, Jake Allen starts. Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher to me, but hopefully he has the game of his career because we need a win desperately. We need a win desperately. Zach says, let the shit show continue. Gritsyuk has 3 goals, 2 assists in his last 5 games, has 4 goals, 6 assists in his last 10. I would say he can definitely score. Again, that's, KHL, NHL, very different. Hopefully he can make the adjustment and it's fairly seamless. There's always a learning curve for guys coming over from the KHL. It is a different game than in the States. Everyone keeps talking about Gusev. Hopefully, he's not a Gusev 2.0, and hopefully he can produce, at the NHL level. But by no means do I take that as the addition of Gritsyuk at any point as any sort of softening the blow for the inactive trade deadline that the Devils had. It has nothing to do with it, nothing more than a spin campaign to pacify Devils fans who don't know any better. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them. M says, SST, I agree. Haminaho will be the better player overall, but some of the top players in the league are Russian. It's worth a shot. Yeah, it seems like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We haven't had a Russian player in quite some time. It's been a while. We've had our fair share of Russians over the years. Obviously, some of my favorite Russians in Devils history include obviously Sergei Brylin, Mr. Ring of Honor, 3-time Cup champ Sergei Brylin. Alex Mogilny is another one of my favorite Russians. And I'm probably going to take some heat for this, but my God, did I love Ilya Kovalchuk. Oh, my God, did I love Ilya Kovalchuk. Loved him as a kid when he was on the Thrashers. He was one of my favorite non-Devils in the league at the time. I always enjoyed watching him and Danny Heatley. And when we got the Devils traded for him to get Covey in his prime, what an era. The Kovalchuk era was fun. Had a sad ending, but yeah, maybe it's time we embrace some Russians again. SST says it's worth a shot, but knowing Fitzgerald, he's going to give Gritsyuk $5 million contract straight away. I definitely don't see that, SST. M. Sharp says, good morning, everyone. Jeremiah, any hope I had is gone. If we lose tonight, I don't know what to do, especially against the Flyers. You know, nothing would surprise me anymore. Yeah, they need a win badly, and they all know it. We'll see how they respond. Cyril, whirlwind, the word of the hour when new players get interviewed. I've seen bits and pieces. I've just been so down over the last couple of days. It's been hard for me to, really take in a lot of this stuff because I am just beyond infuriated, if I'm being honest. I'm sure a lot of you have picked up on that and are some of you infuriated yourselves, but that was, it was a dark day. And then to go to the game and watch the team just get dismantled by the Jets. Traveling Devil, good morning, sir. Nicole Lee, hey, does anyone have a good way to watch blacked out games? I'm tired of every Flyers and Penguins game being blacked out for me. Thanks. Nicole, I got to get back to you on that thing. Not the first thing, Nicole, the second thing. The second thing, I'm going to get back to you, that message. I'm mulling it over in my mind, so don't think I just disappeared on you, Nicole. I'd never do that. I'm going to get back to you soon on that, just kind of mulling over some things. I will try to send you a link. A link. We're going to leave it at that for you to be able to watch the game. Oh, Jeff, Glass and Sprong, third line today. Yeah, wow. Wow. Hopefully they come out with something to prove. And, maybe I'm just trying to be positive, guys. It's super hard. And I've tried to be positive all season long. A lot of you, especially at the trade deadline or leading up to it, were super negative, and I told everybody, relax. The deadline's not till Friday. Let's see how it goes. I think something's going to happen. And I tried to calm you all down, and then the deadline came, and it was exactly what a lot of you were saying for a week. And like I said, I'll be right on the front lines with you guys at that point if it happened, and it did happen. It is unfortunate. Hopefully these guys can bring something to the lineup on the surface. Obviously, very, very, very underwhelming pickups. Sprong was on waivers in December, which means the entire league passed on claiming him for free. And here we are. So we're supposed to celebrate this addition as if, an addition we used assets to get when we could have had him for free in December. And we're supposed to fist pump it. I really don't know. But hopefully they have something to prove and they could help this team. Like I said, the bar is very low. We've gotten virtually no production from the bottom six. So maybe they will represent an improvement, and hopefully they do. That's all we could hope for. We need to find a win some way. Jake Allen has to have the game of his life today. Bonzo 57, how about getting some players whose bodies aren't the consistency of graham crackers and balsa wood? Yeah, the injuries, it is unfortunate. I've talked about this at length as well. What are the odds that in back-to-back seasons, 3 of our most important players all get hurt in back-to-back seasons? Jack Hughes, nicohischier, Dougie Hamilton injured last year and all injured this year. Jack goes down with another season ender, and they're going to have to survive this push and hopefully get into the playoffs without him. It is very unfortunate. And it's devastating. It really is. Dougie, who knows when we'll see him back. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make the playoffs, that if it's trending that way, we might not see Dougie for the rest of the season. That wouldn't surprise me. For Devil, I'll start with some positives. They are still in the playoff spot. The schedule isn't quite as hard this week, although it is busy. Vital games against the Jackets where we can solidify our spot. I mean, the Rangers are right there too, my man. Let me just take a look. I was looking this morning. Yeah, the Rangers are 4 points behind us with a game in hand. So if they won the game in hand, they're only 2 points back. Even if we beat Columbus head to head, that doesn't prevent the Rangers from surging on. The Rangers are still right there, as much of a threat as the Jackets. Anyone see my boy Brady yesterday get that OT winner? Brady's such a beast, man. Wow. What a talent. Love me some Brady Tkachuk. What a game for him yesterday. Let me see. When is that Ranger game? The Ranger game's April 5th. Saturday, April 5th. That could be a massive one. Obviously, they're all going to be massive for playoff implications, but that one could really have something extra on it. And then, yeah, April. I mean, Bruins, Penguins, Islanders, Bruins, Wings, like winnable games, but there is no easy wins in this league. Devils seem to play down to the competition a lot. We already have seen that, unfortunately, for a while. And these teams are going to be looking to play spoiler down the stretch for sure. And we'll see how it all ends. But Jacob Markstrom is going to have to steal us some games, I think. But today we rely on Jake Allen. Jake Allen to the rescue. James Valenti, cheers, sir, to the end of the season. Yeah, it's only 11 a.m., but given the circumstances, drinks are required. I'm going to hold off for now, but I'm ready. The bottle's always in the holster, ready to come out. Scoring first would be beautiful today. I really, really hope we can score first in Philly. Yeah, SST, I've heard when Gritsyuk comes over, he's going to want top 6 minutes in a decent contract. Can't say I would agree to that. Oh, boy. Zach, these games are almost win till the end. Let's be real. Yeah. Crystal, Columbus, and Rangers right there today is a must win. Again, I hate using the term must win. It's a gotta win. It's not a must win until it's a must win. But every game from here on out, just absolutely massive. 18 games remaining. Zach W. Cotter being a healthy scratch is wild. I am a little bit bewildered. I'm sure they're going to give some reason why. And again, this is just, from the book of Tom Fitzgerald, how to turn a number 7 overall pick, which was Alex Holtz, into a healthy scratch. It's just scratching Cotter is mind-boggling to me. It honestly is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to give some justification for it, but and there I fear, Beachmaster, it's a tank move. I don't like conspiracy theories. I hate being negative, but when they keep giving you reasons to be negative, it's hard not to, because I like to believe that I live in the world of reality. And so sometimes, unfortunately, reality is negative. And right now, the reality of this team is a lot of negativity. And so for people that, want to come after me for being negative, I don't want to be this person. I want to come on here, have victory beverages, and celebrate wins and and be proud of our team. And we've fallen so far from that the unfortunate reality is negative. And Beachmaster, if I'm being honest, now that you say it, it certainly smells like a tank move to me. It does. And now you're throwing Jake Allen out there when Markstrom's rested. I mean, a lot of the stuff, it just doesn't make sense. Not being active at the deadline. If I'm being honest, it seems like any season where ownership or Fitz feels like they're not going to go on a deep run, they're like, okay, if we're not going on a deep run, then we're going to try to finish as low as possible and get as high of a pick as possible. Furthermore, the Devils probably going into the season thought they were going to be a playoff team and be pretty good. And so that the pick the Calgary Flames would get this year from that Markstrom deal would be a not so great one. Now that we're where we are, Jack goes down, they're probably like, well, if we somehow tank and finish with a top 10 pick this year, we keep it and Calgary gets next year's pick, and hopefully next year we're much better. And so the pick Calgary will get won't be that great, and we could keep this top 10 for this season, because obviously we're not going anywhere without Jack. So pack it up, sprinkle some nonsense on the roster, and tank for a high pick. That's clearly what happened last season, and I fear, Beachmaster, it's honestly what's happening this year as well. Apparently they asked for Braden Shen was Nemitz in a first. Can't disagree with Fitz for not accepting that. Sure, but, Braden Shen, while I would have loved to have him, he's not the end-all, be-all. There was tons of other players as well where there's no excuse. How did we not, so many people in this community are way higher on Zetterlund than I am. I love Zetterlund. I liked him before we traded him in the Timo deal. And as he's gone on to develop as a player, people constantly keep talking about him. Guess what, guys? We could have had Zetterlund back for a second-round pick, essentially. He went for a second-round pick and like a throwaway prospect. We couldn't have made that deal. We certainly could have made that deal. And he certainly, Zetterlund certainly would be better than the guys we had in the bottom 6. Furthermore, I would say Zetterlund is a bona fide top 6 player on this current roster. And so if you're really trying to win, if you really want to put your team in the best position to succeed, why wouldn't you get Zetterlund for a second-round pick and a nonsense prospect? We spent the second-round pick to get Dumoulin when we have plenty of other defensemen. Defense was never the issue. Our defense, combined with our goaltending, we were, second in the league in goals against? And we found the need to burn a second-rounder on Dumoulin, but you wouldn't use a second-rounder on Zetterlund? It's just maddening stuff. Nothing makes sense anymore, guys. And, I'm trying not to travel and devil, Cotter scratched. Yeah, wild. Arnott, 1, 2, 3. If they continue the way they've been playing, 1 win, 1 loss, we're looking at 90 points. Is that enough? I don't think so. I don't think so either. No. 500 hockey, I don't think is going to get it done. Four Devil says, season is almost over. Is that a positive? It might be. It might be. Brian J., shame on Keefe. They take Cotter out and leave in Tatar. Guys, I mean, listen, it's just mind-boggling decision after mind-boggling decision. If I'm going to pull a guy out, though, it wouldn't be Tatar for me, honestly. He at least gives hustle and seems like he gives 100% in most games. But there's no way that, that Cotter, in any world, Cotter should be out of the lineup. You could pick several other guys that he should be in over. It doesn't make sense to me. And again, I could talk about this forever, but Cotter definitely should be in the lineup. Marta, I don't get the love for Bastion. I don't think many of us do. Or any of these guys in the bottom 6. I don't know how you pick Cotter as the one to be in the players' suite. Makes no sense to me, but what do I know? Jeff says the consequences of finishing second, I guess. Yeah, he tried, guys. He tried. It wasn't for lack of trying. He called. He made his calls. He sat there waiting for his phone to ring. And unfortunately, second place is the best he could come up with. And so, second place. Joe Cade, what are the odds Fitzgerald lives to see a 7th season and a 4th head coach? I think he definitely lives to see next season, and I don't think he fires Keefe. I suppose with the wild world of Devils decisions, it could happen, but I don't think it will. I think they're gonna lean on the injuries and blah blah blah, and it wasn't Keefe's fault, and it's not my fault either. As Tom Fitzgerald, it's not his fault either. But I do unfortunately believe he will be back next season, as will Keefe. And I don't think Keefe's the issue. He was handed a terrible roster, and his boss just kept his hand in his pockets and hoped and wished as the Devils went from an elite team in the league at the holiday break to now a playoff hopeful. M. Sharp, surprised the Oilers didn't get a goalie. I'm sure they kicked around trying to get one. I would have loved to send them Jake Allen for something decent, but again, that was never going to happen either. Arnott 1, 2, 3. Keefe is not our coach. He's a yeah man, which makes sense why he was hired. And it is possible. At this juncture, I now question everything. I do not believe with this organization that anything, even a wild kind of notion, I can't chalk it up to a conspiracy theory anymore. Like at this juncture, was Keefe ordered to scratch Cotter? I mean, I find it hard to believe that would be something he would do. Maybe it is, but who's calling the shots here? And furthermore, as evidence to this, as to the dysfunction, if you recall, last season before Travis Green took over as interim head coach when Lindy Ruff was fired, one of the things that was mentioned, and I don't even know how this got out, but they had mentioned that Travis Green stated specifically that he wanted autonomy of the roster, meaning he didn't want meddling from management with his roster decisions. That was one of the many red flags for me on last season. The fact that he needed to say that, very troubling, very, very troubling, which is, again, another piece of evidence that there is other voices when making these decisions. And he is a head coach that did not want to be bothered with that sort of group dynamic for his team, and respect to him. What respectable head coach would want to deal with that? And so maybe these decisions aren't even being made by Keefe at this point. I don't think it's a crazy thing to speculate on. SST, Cotter scratch is a good decision. We need goals, and Cotter isn't providing that at the moment. Need to see what Sprong can do. He's going to be 1+1 today. No one's providing goals in the bottom 6, SST, so I'm certainly not picking Cotter as the guy to come out, please. Brian J., Cotter has the best hands on this team right now, WTF. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. Beachmaster, at this point, there is no system. Nicole, are we trying to throw the game with this lineup? I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. Arnott, fans need to open eyes and stop watching with their hearts. Stop going to games, hit the owners in the wallet. I can't spend another dollar on watching this team live in good faith. And it sucks. The boys deserve better, but I cannot financially support a team that has constantly spit in my face. I cannot do it. Constantly spit in the face, and I've drawn the line. Enough is enough. Beachmaster, Pond Hockey System. M Sharp, I'm disappointed as I feel they lead us on. At least be honest. I think they're always planning on a 3-year plan. If I'm being honest, I don't even know if there is a cohesive plan. It kind of seems like fly by the seat of your pants, just madness, complete madness. Nothing makes sense anymore. M, organization is F that needs major change. I completely agree with you on that. I don't know. Wow, sorry guys. I fell super behind in the comments here. I got to start skipping ahead. For Devil, be careful, Arnott. That could backfire and cause a team sale rather than changing anything. I would love nothing more than a team sale for Devil. I wish there was some, oil magnate or billionaire who liked New Jersey and loved the hockey to buy the damn team and put winning first. Jeff Vanderbeek was a guy who wanted to win. Say what you want about the Vanderbeek era. That guy wanted to win, and you felt it. We are just a little plaything for a massive enterprise. We're just a little profit center. John NJDevils45, what's up, Big Dog Ace? Love afternoon hockey. Fitz is delusional and tired of his same old garbage press conferences. I think a lot of us are, sir. I think a lot of us are right there with you. Stanley62495, morning Ace. Franchise at rock bottom. I fully expect things to get worse, but they're at the point where more worse doesn't even matter anymore. A consolidation of suckage, if you will. It's bad, Stanley. I know you're another longtime fan. And it's just a dark time right now. I don't know how this plays out for the Devils in the next year and beyond. But it is terrible. And for Devil, I do agree, change is needed from the top. Absolutely. Arnott says, for Devil, I get it, but after 12 plus years of failure, what's the loss? John NJDevils45, this analytic-driven ownership is killing us. Fitz is a puppet. And that was my fear last year, and I think it was kind of confirmed. I'm not excusing him by any stretch. He's an awful general manager. But being an awful general manager in conjunction with having owners that only care about money, it's a combination for absolute disaster, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Robert, saw you behind the Jets bench on TV last game. Yeah, I was there with my buddy. Those are season tickets, and apparently you made it on TV a bunch of times. I got some text and emails in the first couple minutes of the game. I totally forgot, that would happen. I was just so steaming, and it's funny. I went back and watched a couple clips from the game, and the look of disgust is all over my face. I didn't realize I looked that miserable, but I was. Van Whalen, hey, Ace, this article about Fitz calls him a soft GM. What article is that? Oh, man. M Sharp, front office throwing out shit now, hoping something will stick, and it keeps piling up. Yeah, it's just kind of throwing stuff out there and seeing what happens. But, yeah, I will not be bamboozled. I will not be bamboozled at all. James, Ilya is my favorite player. That line with Parise, you don't find players the one-time bomb anymore. Kovalchuk could do it all, man. Monster of a man with blazing speed and a cannon blast shot. He could score every which way. Wristers, slappers, breakaways. What an exciting time. Alex, Fridays was this team's worst day in a very long time. I totally agree. Triple T, are they really benching Cotter before Bastion or Tatar or Lazar? Indeed, they are. Indeed, they are. Why is the sermon? Cody Glass actually looks pretty decent. Dude scored like 96 points while in a WHL. Is that? I mean, listen. Are we gonna get aroused by his stats when he was in middle school as well? I mean, the reality is the guy played 51 games to the Pens this year. He has 4 goals and 11 assists for 15 points. So, sadly, I personally cannot get excited by 15 points in 11 games. However, I will say, let me just load this page up here. 15 points is more than Hala's 11 and more than Bastion's 9 and more than Lazar's 5. In fairness to Lazar, he missed a ton of time. And the 5 of Dowling. So it is just like, give me a break. A guy with 4 goals and 11 assists for 15 points. We're supposed to get excited about that? Insanity. Venom Pit, big one today. It certainly is. Richard Tompkins, trade market was way too wild. Teams wanted a king's ransom for very little return. Again, this is the risk you run as a general manager by ignoring needs that are known, glaring needs that are known. When you ignore them and kick the can down the road, that's his specialty, is punting and kicking the can down the road to wait to address it later. Other teams were proactive. As someone else pointed out, I forget when, but just look around the league. Early on in the season, Colorado was like, our goaltending is absolute shit. What did they do? They picked up 2 former Devils netminders in Scott Wedgwood and Blackwood. They said, we've seen enough. This is a problem. We're not going to wait any longer. And just like that, they had a new tandem. If the Colorado Avalanche months ago could go out and get a new goaltending tandem, I'm sorry, Fitzgerald could have picked up a piece or two at any point along the way when this team was clearly struggling. He decided not to, and then wants to go, I came in second place at the deadline. Complete malpractice. He's officially been exposed. Anyone who gave him the benefit of the doubt from last season, the goodwill is gone. Fans are furious. This year was not last year. We were firmly in a playoff spot. Last year, with the injuries and things, we were on the outside looking in, and it would have taken like quite a run to get into the playoffs. Again, if they did get a goalie much sooner, we definitely could have made the playoffs, but I digress. This season, we were firmly in a playoff spot, and he kept his hands in his pockets while we just slowly bled out. A slow and painful death. And it is what it is, but it's inexcusable. And I'm not going to buy the excuse of, teams wanted too much, this, that, and the other thing. Reaper Crew Garage owners don't want to spend money. It certainly seems that way. Alex, Cody Glass has been a complete nobody in the NHL. He got dealt with picks to Pittsburgh just so Nashville could get rid of him. Jack is made of glass. Traveling says desperation pickups. It certainly seems that way. SST, I low-key wanted Sprong last summer. He can skate and can score. Give him a chance. Listen, I hope he succeeds, but the point remains, these are underwhelming transactions for a team that had plenty of holes. If it was Sprong and O'Reilly or Sprong and something like that, then fine. I'm not going to bash it. But when you bring back a pile of, fringe NHL players, no one's going to get excited about that or expect it to move the needle, especially when Jack went down. It was a slap in the face to the entire team. I would love to see some scathing quotes from some of the players come out at some point between now and the end of the season, because I'm sure there's guys in that room that are absolutely furious. Stanley says at Beach, that would require having, why not getting Sprong in December? Yeah, he was on waivers. We could have had him for free. We decided to wait and then use assets to get him later in the season. And Stanley says that would require having a GM with working brain cells. Guy's an absolute stooge. Can't say you're wrong. Jeff says no Cotter, no McDermott against Philadelphia. Wouldn't be my choice. Mine neither. It seems like I don't know what's going to become of Curtis McDermott. It seems like he's just been completely eradicated from the team. Like, I don't even know, poor guy deserved much better. I mean, I'm glad he got his money. A lot of people hated on that deal, but it is what it is. Like, we needed Rempe pest control. We were entirely too soft. I believe we still are entirely too soft, if I'm being honest. But he just hasn't been able to sniff a game. It's kind of crazy. Alex says Daniel Sprong can't play defense at an NHL level. He's been a healthy scratch or put on the fourth line on most of the teams he's played for. His shot is his only good quality. He's a complete liability. Well, at this point, we just need offense. We just need offense. SST says we don't need defense. We need freaking goals, which is true. M says I'm calling Sprong first goal. Brendan, I can't with this team. I'm going to shoot myself if we lose by more than 3. Stickfig says nice to win, should win, gotta win, must win. HZ Neon, Rangers play Jackets today. Need it just not to go to OT. Yeah, 3-point game would be completely terrible. We need it to end in regulation, one or the other. The worst possible scenario is a 3-point game where one of the teams gets 2 and one gets 1. That would be tragic. Just got to end in regulation. Jordan, call me crazy, but excited for Cody Glass. Seems like a good opportunity for him to turn his career around. Jordan, wish granted, you are crazy. Alex, if Sprong is such a great player, then why is he on a 7 team at 27 years old? The dude sucks. Y'all are going to see. Listen, I don't want to bash the guy. Could he possibly contribute? Sure. But be realistic. There's a reason he was on waivers and the entire league passed on him. It is what it is. It is what it is. Stanley, I legit got this entire roster outside of Luke. Nico is going to walk regardless, so I'd listen to offers for him as well, but literally anyone is game. Enough is enough with this core. I love Nicohischier. My biggest fear is that when he is an unrestricted free agent and after 2 more seasons from now, that he will run as far as possible from this franchise. And who would blame him, right? I mean, this is his 8th season. Like I said, he's been to the playoffs twice, 1 playoff round win to show for it. I mean, I would be getting out of here so fast. Arnott says reality at times equals negativity, nothing to have to defend. Well, there's the idiots that want to attack me and be like, you're so negative, then go find another team. And it's like, no, I'm not going to find another team, and I'm not going anywhere. I love this team. I've loved this team for 30 years. And when I see, I guess, lack of a better term, call it sabotage or, whatever you want to call it, it's hard and very frustrating. I know many of you are the same way, to sit by and just watch this absolute train wreck year after year after year. And we've been in a decade-long rebuild, and we are the laughing stock of the league, and for good reason. We have one of the worst general managers in pro sports at the helm, just destroying this team slowly. It's absolutely disgusting. Traveling Devil, at this point, the negativity is justified. Zach, did you see Nathan McKinnon talk about how he thinks you can't win with young players in his last postgame? I think he has a good point. I saw the headline, and that's the reality. You can have some youth. You can't have an entire team of youth. And the Devils, as they currently are constructed, and I've talked about this forever. I said, where are the winners? Where are the leaders? Where are the vets? All the Devils dynasty teams were a beautiful mixture. Heavy on the vets with a nice sprinkling of young kids. That 2000 roster, Niedermeyer was a vet. Stevens a vet. Kenny Danico a vet. Claude Lemieux, Alex Mogilny. I'm trying to think some of the more grizzled guys. McKay. Holik, tons of vets, and then you had the sprinkling of the young kids, Rafalski, Colin White, Gomer. It was a beautiful mixture, but this is a very inexperienced young group, and I've been saying that myself for years. When I just look at teams that win, they have a lot more vets, and some of that youth infusion, we're a whole team of children. It is what it is. Eventually, they're not going to be children. And hopefully they could become the grizzled veterans. But what experience are these guys getting other than a complete letdown to the fan base year after year? Nico could be in year 10, and he's like, yeah, I made it to the playoffs twice. Like, come on, man. It's crazy. Ryan, we need new management and owners. Sadly, if we lose a playoff spot, I may not even be excited for next year's season. I'll always be excited for the season and to root for the team. But if I'm being honest, the expectations and hope of being a good team have been sucked out of my body. I'm already depressed about next season, and for good reason. After the way this all went down, it's not just like, better luck next year. The team is fundamentally flawed in many ways, and I don't know that it's going to get better anytime soon, and it is depressing. Beachmaster owners have a history of tanking. Brendan Ace, this team is so sad I'm sitting in my bed building a Lego fox. John NJ Devils, last year's problems just creeped into this season. Slow starts, not scoring first, injuries, etc. We are cursed. Yeah. Arnott not going anywhere with Jack, sad to say. I hope that's not true, but it is going to be difficult for him to play 82 games. I mean, his career so far shows, he's injury prone. It is what it is. Hopefully he could get healthy and have a very good next season and not get injured again. But the reality remains that there is a chance he will. Nicole, I'm realistic too, but if it smells like a fish and looks like a fish, odds are it's a fish. I think that's a good way to say it. Dire Straits, I've given up. I'll check the score, but not dedicating time to crap. I can't blame you. Ryan H., our guys won't be in their prime of their hockey careers forever. No, and that's why I say every year with a core like this, must win, must win, must win. There is no the future is bright. You must win now. But here we are, year 8, jesperbratt and nicohischier. They have one single playoff round win to show for it. Brandon, whoa, did I just hear Ace suggest tanking? Are you okay? Oh, no, sir. I will never suggest tanking. I am suggesting based on someone else put out there, so I just kind of expanded on it. We're talking about is the organization tanking. I never want that. I never want to tank. That's disgusting to me, and it's fully on display. Never swayed from that opinion. Well documented. Everyone knows that's a dirty word around here. Richard Tompkins says getting Zetterlund back would have been nice. I can see the Sharks not wanting Zetterlund to go back to the Devils. I mean, why would they care? Traveling Devil analytics team probably set the tank. It's very possible. HC Neon, I think we make the playoffs going 500 if the teams we beat are the Rangers and Jackets. It's possible. Paula hasn't had a point since 11:25. He stinks. Michael Klein sending Casey down and keeping Nemitz in there shows how stupid they are and blind to Nemitz's play. They are tanking the season. I hope not. That's interesting, Traveling Devil. Cotter probably spoke up. Maybe that's why he's been thrown into the press box. John Rogers, just cancel my NHL package for next year. Probably watch a lot more Lifetime TV with the wife. Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Alex Hull is another player that several teams passed on because they saw he had little to no talent, and yet he's a fixture in our lineup. Michael, how the hell Casey was sent down and not Nemitz is mind-boggling after last game. This season is a tanked season. Steve Smith, 2 years ago, I said Hall needed to be sent to the moon. I almost lived to regret it that year in the playoffs, but no, he's terrible. Send him to space. Rabbit Monkeypox, hire Ace, fire Fitz. No, and by no means of all this criticism is me saying like, oh yeah, I think I'm just vocalizing what many longtime and knowledgeable fans are seeing. It's nothing. It's out there in plain sight. A lot of people just choose to gloss over the harsh reality, but there's tons of people that will not be fooled by the charades that are happening. The magic tricks ain't fooling us. Troy Machine V-Tuck shutout in his first game for Florida. I saw that. Cotter has to be furious. Ryan H. Today we'll decide if I finish watching the rest of the season or if I check scores and move on. Sad for Nico Bratt and the guys wasting years on this garbage of a product. So far, no support. Yeah. Totally agree. I'll watch every game always because I'm a glutton for punishment and I just love the team too much, but it's pretty terrible. Ernad, I can see it in Nason's face that he's been over this team and its issues for months now. Yeah, and Nason probably regrets coming here for sure. And I do think when I was talking earlier that I hope someone makes some really scathing quotes. I think he's the most likely one to do it because I don't think he gives a shit. And he's been quite mad for a while, stemming back to that quote a month ago where he was talking about, guys playing too cute and whatever else he said. It was kind of the most raw emotion and I guess for lack of a better term, like truths being spoken was him in the locker room after a game. And he is my nominee for someone to really say something, that'll shed some light on some things. Stanley Ace, spot on about Green. It is obvious that this organization is micromanaged by idiots that don't know what they're doing. If Keefe isn't a yes man, I see him stepping down, honestly. Oh, man, wouldn't that be something? If Keefe stepped down, that would be the biggest indictment on the organization in a while, in a long line of them. I mean, wow. Paulie Walnuts, I'll be boycotting next season, not renewing my season tickets. That's your prerogative. If I had season tickets at this juncture, I 1,000,000% wouldn't be renewing them either. To continually pay for a product where the product keeps getting worse. It just doesn't make sense, and good for you, man. Unfortunately, not enough people will do it. There's people that just, ignorance is bliss. They don't really know much, and unfortunately, there's a lot of fans that don't know much, and so they'll go there and they just enjoy it. And it's because they're just more casual fans, and I get it. And even some of the season ticket holders are probably some casual fans to some extent. They're not, if you're in this watching this live right now, you're a pretty sick hockey fan, right? You're actively seeking out hockey content. You're engaging in all these things. You're watching me talk about the team in a live. You're putting comments in. And so this is a way more involved fan than your average fan, even at a game. And I do think a lot of them just, like, better luck next year kind of mentality. A lot of them obviously weren't around for the, winning years of New Jersey Devils hockey. And all they kind of know is this constant, the future is bright. Jack Hughes is exciting to watch. My daughter thinks a couple of the players are cute, and the vicious cycle just continues. Just continues on and on. Ryan H., wish they would let a few fans into Fitzgerald's press conference. That would make for great TV. That would never happen. That would never happen. We barely have real media as it is. There's very few real media around the team. I tried. I've talked about this before. I've tried to get in these places. No love for your boy Ace. I was kind of, pushed to the side like a piece of trash. That's a topic for another day, but I did try. BC, we need to stop going to games, stop buying merch, write to Ziggy Wolf and beg him to make an offer for this team. Harris and Blitzer can go count their billions while running some other team. I don't think they're ever going to sell. I just think owning a team right now it's a great investment, and it's a great toy to have. Oh, this is the guy that owns the Vikings. And he owns a Orlando MLS team. Interesting. Maria D, we went from big game hunting to drunk shopping. Oh, man. Bonzo, Gretzky was ahead of his time when he said the Devils are a Mickey Mouse organization. Oh, boy. Yeah, right? It was a few decades too soon. Jace Snow says Cotter's not in the lineup. This is a joke. Super big Devils and Mets fan. Hey, Ace, the Devils are killing me. I have no nails now because of the script this season. By the way, keep up the great work and don't retire. Need your post-game analysis. I'm gonna drag myself to the finish line here and finish the season. But I just don't think I have it in me to continue on. I'll always, do something, some things here and there. But I just don't think I could be nearly as involved next year as I was this year. It's a lot of time and energy just to constantly be aggravated and disappointed. So, I'll never fully disappear. But next season, I don't think, as far as a game by game thing goes, I don't know if I have it in me, to be honest. If there's a shootout, Silky Hands Cotter will be missed. Zach, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I've come to the conclusion that I died on December 28th, and I am in hell. Oh, boy. Jay Snow, bad drafting, poor roster construction, and horrible trade deadlines. It's 5 years of this garbage. He's made tons of mistakes. Couldn't agree more. Why is there so many Ranger fans in here recently? Richard Tompkins, I do agree with you. Moves could have been made earlier, around December. BC, Harris and Blitzer are your typical Wall Street vultures who are all about money. They crap on the fans and bought this team for the sole purpose of adding to their portfolio, period. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's that's clearly what's going on here. I do think people are a little stunned at the lack of spending, and there's no way to sugarcoat it or deny it. Last year, we had Dougie's $9 million of LTIR money. We didn't spend any of it. And this year, a lot of fans were delusionally telling me, oh, Fitz is going to do something. We have $13 million in LTIR. And especially after the Dumoulin trade, they were like, why would Anaheim retain if he wasn't going to spend all the money? And I was like, it's quite simple. It's a cost savings. He saved money. We overcompensated for that Dumoulin trade, used a second-round pick, and the reason was because they were going to retain on him, so they saved money. It's super unfortunate. Stanley says, Eric, if you're going to troll, step up your game, at least amuse us. Yeah, some of the worst trolling I've ever seen. What a moron. Nicole, I liked McDermott, and I wish we would play him more. So do I. At least if we're going to go out, we'd be going out with a fight. See some fisticuffs. BC, any coach of this team will be a puppet of Fitz and the analytics geeks. Keefe couldn't even select his own staff. As for McDermott, cut him loose and let him play for a real organization. Metalander, Cotter may be one of the furious and paying for speaking out. That would be something. And if that's the case, then I hope he goes nuclear. I hope he just says everything he wants to the media, and the team gets rid of him. And he can, like you said, he can go play for a real team. That would be super unfortunate. Man, the plot thickens. Zach, decade of pain with little glimpses of hope. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Ryan H., I'm sure Bratt would want out as well, and Markey is wasting his tail end of the career on fake noise. Good luck in free agency when the league looks at us as incompetent to even fix minor issues. Yeah, if I'm Jacob Markstrom, I personally would have had enough after the season, and I would just say trade me. Just trade me. Send me to a team that actually wants to win, because this was a complete bullshit waste of time for my season. Feel terrible for Markey. He's a fiery competitor, man. I love Markey. I would love to see him go somewhere else and win a cup before it's all over. He deserves so much better. Collect records at BC. I said the other night, if I'm Nico, I've already told my manager I'm gone in 2 years. M Sharp Ace, I like that you're doing your best at holding them accountable. That is all we can do as fans. Say it as it is. Yeah, and that's what I'll always do. I will always say what I really believe. And if it comes off as negative, so be it. Unfortunately, the reality that they've given us the past long time, but especially these last couple of days, it is negative. But it is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or lie about it. Like, I'm sorry that I'm more perceptive than most people out there, and sorry that you don't like, the masses hearing the message. But many people know, and it is what it is. I will not be fooled, and I know a lot of you won't be either. Yeah, Ryan, you can't get the ultimate experience if you can't make the playoffs consistently. Exactly. Yo, Holmes, overpaid children who just stay out partying all night in Hoboken with no demand for on-ice success. I actually don't think that's the. I don't think they party out in Hoboken all night. I really don't. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think that is the case. Zach W. We got to get a Steve call before the end of the season. Make it happen, Ace. I've been trying. Steve the Maniac is at an all-time low as well. And unfortunately, despite me asking almost daily, I ask him to, we nonstop text about the Devils. I've been asking him daily, and he's just so down and broken that he just refuses. I'm going to continue to try, but I just don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately. And so it is what it is. B, sadly, this is not a team of children. It's a team of vet forwards who can't score and underwhelming star players. I would still call some of our guys children, despite their age. I don't know. People are fighting Ranger fans in here. I'm just ignoring them entirely. Ryan Westerfield, thank you for the super chat, sir. The last week as a Devils fan has been a major kick in the nuts. Ryan, I am right there with you. I do believe it is a complete kick in the nuts. And that is a great way to describe it. I just so many of us had such high hopes coming into the season after the offseason. And I did say Fitz had, in my opinion, a great offseason. And once again, failed in season. But excited from the summer. We start the year. It was a little bit of a rocky road at the beginning. They hit their stride. We looked like a beastly team at the holiday break. And then ever since then, it's been a slow bleed out and an absolutely horrific trade deadline day. And then we get blown out that night to follow it up. So thank you for the super chat. I couldn't agree more. It has been a major kick in the nuts. And, hopefully, I don't even know what to say hopefully anymore. To me, we're in a bad spot right now. Bad spot. Jay Snow, what channel? Is this shit on today? I believe it's on, hold on. I think it's on multiple things. TNT, True TV, and Max. TNT, True TV, and Max are the three streaming services, channels, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what it's on today. Steven, injuries aside, the problem with this team is the bottom six. It's not that crazy to improve there in the offseason. No, but what about this season? I mean, our improvements are Glass and Sprong. Like, my God. Brandon, the next season resumes the endless rebuild if the same ownership and or GM remain. Yeah, I mean, listen, I unfortunately, I don't think the owners are going anywhere. So it's almost like, while it's a point to say, I don't think it's remotely realistic. And I think we're in trouble with the owners, owning the team regardless of who's the GM. Fitzgerald must go. Absolutely must go to give us any hope. And unfortunately, I don't think he will. I think he will be here again to sabotage the team for another season. Matthew, Devil Heaven Baby, here we go. It starts today. What starts today? Our march to the playoffs with the new revamped lineup, which features Cotter scratched, insert Glass and Sprong. Man. No more. People are giving Fitzgerald way too much credit when they say the Devils are tanking. The sad fact is the guy is just a bad GM. I don't think really saying you're tanking is giving him credit. I think the owners taught him about that. They're very well versed in it, according to 76ers fans. That's kind of their MO. Tank, get as high of a pick as possible, and hope you build a championship caliber team with that method. And it's not effective in hockey, as everyone knows. There's been many teams, and the Oilers for years, way before McDavid, in the Taylor Hall, Nugent Hopkins era, and they weren't tanking on purpose. They just sucked. But they had multiple number one picks, high picks, and they still sucked. And in the end, the Devils should realize from their own experience that high draft picks don't mean shit. We have two number one overalls, Jack Hughes, nicohischier. Nemitz was a number 2. Luke Hughes at number 4. We burned a number 7 pick on Holtz, which is now a healthy scratched Paul Cotter. And despite having all of those high draft picks, the New Jersey Devils are still terrible. They're still absolutely terrible. It's such a shame, guys. I'm just disgusted. Oh, my man, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Turco Media Corp. Thank you for the therapy. I don't know if this is actually therapy, Brian, or more of just like a public vent session. But it does seem like overwhelmingly so on this platform, in this community, as well as on other platforms. Most fans are just fed up with this. Hardcore fans have seen enough. They want change, and it's not happening. For 2 years in a row to not be active, to give the team the best chance. And Steve the Maniac pointed this out in a text to me last night. He's claiming last year is just as bad as this year, or could be worse, because the fact that it was so obvious we were just a goaltender away, and that Jack Hughes was still healthy at that juncture. He didn't get hurt till well after the deadline. So this year you could kind of see where they're like, oh, once Jack went down, they went immediately to tank mode, it seems. But it's just disgusting. 2 years in a row now where no help was brought in. And if I'm, nicohischier is a goner, in my opinion. I hate to say it. I do think he leaves. But shame on them for doing this. And if I'm Jacob Markstrom, I'm furious. We're going to find out what happened with Cotter. Maybe he was. A lot of you just threw out the kind of hypothesis, if you will, that maybe he got benched for speaking out. And you know what? Maybe we need more guys like that, because enough is enough. And I'm counting on my man Nason to have some scathing truths that a lot of people may not want to hear or say. But yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you for the therapy. Yeah, I think it's more of a public vent, but a lot of people are just kind of at their wits' end. It really is a dark time right now for the Devils fans, and we all just want change and what's best for the team. Brandon, if Cotter was thrown in the players' box for speaking up, that just shows how toxic leadership management is. Oh, of course. And if that is the case, I hope he tells everybody that and just goes nuclear and just says, screw it, I'm done here, and just really airs out the business. That would really be something. That would really be something. I would love to have ownership from Tampa and front offices, 5+ GM from Vegas. Yeah, they laid out the blueprint. When they have LTIR money, their owners give the green light to spend. They weaponize cap space, and they do what winning teams do. If you have LTIR money, you use it all one way or another. Tampa and Vegas have shown that en route to winning cups, and it is a winning mentality. It is a truly win-now mentality at all financial costs. They will spend the money because winning is the priority and not the profit. New Jersey is prioritizing profit overall, and there's no debating it now. When I said it last year and we didn't spend the Dougie Hamilton cap money, people said I was a conspiracy theorist. And once again, this year, I think now people have realized that the proof is there and there's no more debating it. $9 million in caps, LTIR money last year, not used. $13 million this year. And it is what it is. Zach W. Nason is fed up. Yeah, he's really fed up. He probably regrets coming here. Eric G., an idiot Ranger fan. It's just funny how this chat doesn't believe in the team. The chat is realistic. What are you talking about, guy? Why are you even here? Furthermore, what the hell are you even doing here? There's not much to believe in right now. We're all hoping for the best, but we were deserted by ownership and our general manager on trade deadline day. But I don't know what you're doing here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Winnie, a few games ago, Cotter got benched for bad icing. He had a couple last game. I wonder if he's being punished. Seems like the only guy who got punished all year. I mean, if that's really what it's about at this juncture, like, what are we trying to prove points and give disciplinary lessons when we need to win every game at all costs? Complete nonsense. I hope we hear from Cotter, and I hope he brings the sauce. Ryan, regular season champions, obviously in reference to the Rangers President's Trophy win last year. They hung a banner that said regular season champs. Yo, Holmes, Nason is on the first line today with Nico and Timo. Yeah, hopefully he produces there. He's been kind of quiet as of late, had a very hot start to the season, and his production's been down pretty much lockstep with the rest of the team in general. Jason, no, the fact that they said it's not Nemitz's mistakes, it's his lack of urgency and response is super concerning. That's another, at this point, the whole Nemitz situation is just like, it's so far down the list of issues for me at the moment. While this whole situation and it all started when he was making those quotes to the media for that, I think it was a Slovakian newspaper or magazine or whatever it was, that kind of took on a life of its own, and I thought was kind of problematic. At this juncture, like, this is not even, of all the other things going on, this is a small kind of blip of all the things going on right now. But it is another problem kind of issue on the season. But there's just been so many. It's painful. Steve Robinson, Colorado overhauled their entire lineup other than Nate and Kale within the season. What is management doing? We need a performance and a win today. I agree. All right, I'm going to have to skip ahead here because we're just... Tom Ace, glad I'm 41 years old and got to see the glory years. Glory days. Don't they seem so long ago, Tom? I'm so glad I was able to live through it as well. And that's all I could hold on to. Just, remember the glory days, and we were once proud franchise. And I've never missed Lou Lamoriello more than I have in this past week. After that absolutely tragic trade deadline day, what an era we lived in. We were spoiled in every way. Michael Russell, I'd love for Ace to be in the pressers. Spoiler alert, it will never happen. I've tried. I've been blown off by individuals in the organization that kind of pretended they would look into it and all these things. And in the end, it's just never going to happen. I've given up on it. I don't even care anymore. I will continue to have conversations with former legends, former Devils players that actually won something. And it is what it is. I've given up. You know, I do think it was ridiculous how I've been stonewalled, but it is what it is. Collect records. There's no way Nason is being benched today. He's the only dude out there that tries. If so, I hope the entire management office falls into a sinkhole. No, he's not getting benched. Cotter's not in the game. Stick Figs. Ace, they know you're going to ask the real unfiltered questions that they can't handle or don't want to answer. Maybe. It's possible. Steve Smith, were you given any reasons for not being able to get credentialed? What are the requirements they look for certain education? If I'm being honest, it was a bunch of bullshit. You know, I would argue that I know just as much, if not more, than every other person in that room. And with a proven audience that serves their clients, New Jersey Devils fans, I do feel it was a slap in the face, to be quite honest. And they never actually spelled out the exact requirements or anything like that. It was just a lot of sideways talking and excuses, and it's fine. I will, you know, I've given up on it. I don't care. I don't need anything from them. I will continue to say whatever the hell I want that I believe to be the truth, whether it aligns with their spin campaigns or not. And it is what it is. I will still continue to talk to former players. I will interview former players, and that's it. You know, I've been thinking about some other things, but in terms of ever actually, you know, being a member of the media, it doesn't seem like it will happen. Tom Ace, the franchise has just become an asset in their portfolio and they could give a shit less. I think so. Michael S., hit the like button for this guy. Thanks. Hit the button for your boy. Oh, damn, Michael. That's terrible. I can't see all those stats while I'm on here. 170 and only 33 likes. Wow. You guys are stingy with the button. Tom Ace just drove past Continental Airlines Arena and missed the old barn. Wow. What a legendary place. What a legendary building. And the Prudential Centers never seem to encapsulate anything near that type of magic. Matthew Ace, you're doing a great job, my brother. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Brandon, I don't even think Harrison Blitzer wanted the team. I feel like they wanted the arena, but in order to buy it, the condition was the team comes with it. Well, then I would love to see them then sell the team and keep the arena. Perfect. Be our landlord. Get the hell away from the actual team. Evan, give Ace a like. Thanks. James says, why is Allen starting and not Dawes? It's such a joke. Allen is the worst. Allen has been good. I don't know why Allen gets all the hate. I would have loved to see Markey in there, but I'm not going to, Allen has been very good and has given the team a chance to win almost every game he's played. And unfortunately, I haven't scored a lot of times when he's been in there, but Allen has been very solid this year. Per Amanda Stein, Keefe said Cotter's scratch was a reset. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Joseph says Sprong will score today. Watch. So that would be nice. Paulie says, Ace, are you trying to tell us that you were only signed to the end of the season, then you were an unrestricted free agent? No. I'll always be a Devils fan, but I don't know that I could invest this much time into all the extras if we're getting, very little from the team. Queens, New York guy, Ace, Fitzgerald did to us in that bogus press conference with Russell Wilson did to all Seahawks fans and anyone with a brain in that Super Bowl 2015 puppet. I don't remember exactly what you're referring to, but I guess he must have had a tragic press conference as well. Leroy Dan, the lack of media coverage really hurts the team and the fan base. The tough questions are never asked or answered. It's a major problem, and there is no transparency on purpose. Obviously, Obviously, that's that's by design. They don't want they don't. The thing is, listen, guys. I hate to be negative. They don't care about the fans. They just give us your money and shut up. They care. They don't care to provide anything extra for you or things that many other teams would do. There's nothing. And it sucks. Riot and respect. They lose today. I don't think I could watch another game this season. I don't mind wasting my time in this club, but not if they won't make it even remotely worth it. Hopefully they're motivated to try to drag this team into the playoffs. I'm sure a lot of them want to win, but you can only go so far. Martin Ellis. The only way you don't end up overpaying at the deadline is if you win the cup. This team didn't have a prayer of winning it. The whining is pathetic. Ace is delusional. Martin, you are a know-nothing moron and part of the problem. Part of the problem. No one is delusional here but you, my guy. Overpaying at the deadline? Oh, what? Like using a second-round pick to get Dumoulin and have them retain on it and bring a bunch of spare parts and tell us how this is an improvement? Please. You need to make the playoffs at all costs with this group. There is no excuse to not make at least a couple meaningful additions. The additions we made were not meaningful. And by no stretch am I saying the team was going to win the cup, but you must make the playoffs. You must not desert the team when they're in a playoff spot. That trade deadline day was nothing short of deserting the guys in the locker room. A complete slap in the face. You're an idiot, Martin. Again, don't let the door hit you on the way out, my guy. See ya. The top six is a problem, too. Evan, Jersey needs to do away with state income tax. Maybe then the Devils could attract some real players. I've talked about this for months. The league needs to figure it out because there is a real advantage to teams, and you saw it in a perfect case of it with Mikko Rantanen. Teams that don't have state income tax are at a massive advantage. Supposedly Rantanen wanted $13 or $14 million, and that was probably part of the reason why Carolina decided to move him, because they didn't want to pay him. They had buyer's remorse. But he accepted $12 million because in Dallas, with no state income tax in the state of Texas, that $12 million a year is more money in his pocket than $13 or $14 million elsewhere. So it's a massive advantage that needs to be addressed in some way to compensate, because it's ridiculous. Why is Halla playing over Cotter? Your guess is as good as mine. Joseph, who do you want as a GM since you want Fitz out so badly? I haven't heard solutions from you. You just complain. Boring. Joseph, you too, my guy. Do not let the door hit you on the way out. I am allowed to complain. That is my right. And furthermore, I have to give all the solutions too. And then people will be like, you think you know it all, blah, blah, blah. I'm voicing my displeasure. I'm not saying I have the solutions for every single problem. And in this case, I could tell you, in your question of who do you want as GM, anyone on planet Earth other than Tom Fitzgerald. Is that answer good enough for you? Anyone other than Tom Fitzgerald. How's that? Is that good enough? He clearly is not the answer. Go find someone who is. I'm sorry that I didn't come prepared with a list of candidates that you were expecting. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, guy. At Martin, a GM couldn't have effed this trade deadline any worse if he tried. He overpaid for garbage. What is this trying to defend this jackass? He's the drizzling shits. Some people are lost, man. They're either paid shills or they're just clueless. I don't even know why I give these people airtime. But, Ash, we need this win. Do you want Blue Jackets or Rangers to win? It's a tough one. I don't want either one to win, unfortunately, but it just must end in regulation. If it ends up being a 3-point game where it goes to overtime with a shootout, that's the worst possible scenario for the Devils. And hopefully it doesn't happen. In the end, it doesn't matter who wins. Super big Devils and Mets fan. Fitz has to go. He's the middleman and is not vocal to the owners. These owners don't put in on their teams. Look at the 76ers. We deserve better with these increasing prices. Show your displeasure with your wallet. That's all you could do. Pack channel, look, I'm pissed, but the owner spent to the cap in the beginning of the year. This is on Slow Trigger Tommy. Yeah, but there's blood on their hands as well, because he certainly did not have the green light to spend all of the LTIR money. So great. They spent to the cap, but, they probably mentally prepared to be a cap team. And Fitz convinced them, like, listen, you have to be a cap team to even be competitive, to stay relevant. They're probably like, okay. So they kind of wrap their heads around that. But then you get to now, spending LTIR money is additional money out of their pocket. It's not free money. A lot of people, I don't think, understand that LTIR money is still dollars out of the ownership's pocket. And if you don't have an ownership group that is willing to spend that money, you're in the situation we're in now. And it's clear they don't want to spend LTIR money. Stanislav, I have a different opinion. They tank to get a high pick. People get excited and go to the arena. They make their money and tank again. I don't know if that's necessarily it. There's lots of things that could be behind the scenes, but getting a high pick, last year we had the 10th overall. We drafted Salayev. He's still a couple years away from coming. So it's not like we're getting guys that are immediate impact players or even immediate players of any kind. So I don't know if that's, I do think they have some sort of logic regarding the tank with the picks, but I think it's more towards build what they believe will build a better team faster. But it's clearly a flawed logic. Dire Straits says, Joseph, why are you watching then if it's so boring? Then go away. Still in a playoff spot. Relax, bro. Oh, my God. I'm done with you, Joseph. Have a good one, my guy. Yeah, we're still in a playoff spot by the skin of our teeth after having like a ridiculous lead a couple months ago. JT, I gave up my season tickets after 2012. I think I had them for a few years around that time. I don't remember. I think my last season may have been 12-13. Dire Straits, there's nothing to relax about. The team has been one of the worst teams in the league since January. So much so that the Rangers, who were double-digit points behind them, are now closing in on them. Andy MC, Keefe kind of did Cotter dirty in what he said about scratching him in the Amanda Stein interview. He's made every line a little worse. Wow. I didn't see that. Michael Russell, I think it was 12 straight years of playoff appearances, and this is where we are. Fairweather fans are the worst. Steve says, I don't even think we can blame Fitz. I swear he's just a puppet with maybe 5% decision-making powers. He probably has more than that. And even, again, I still can't vindicate him, even if he is completely hamstrung by the ownership because of his horrific drafting. Nemitz at number 2, I'm sorry. That was just bad. And Nemitz, I'm not going to call Nemitz a bust, but we're still probably a long way away from him ever being like a very good defenseman consistently. And Logan Cooley or Shane Wright on this team right now make this team much better. Furthermore, again, number 7, Alex Holtz, how to turn a number 7 overall pick into a healthy scratch, which is Paul Cotter. And just so many other missteps that, even if the ownership group is hindering him, he's completely tragic on his own. And then to overpay for what he did on deadline day, it was like, why? We used assets for no reason. It's just to give the illusion of trying to make the team better. It is super unfortunate. Evan says bench Nemitz and play Casey. I like Casey more as well, but who knows what at this point. I have no idea what the end goal here with all of this is. Stanley 62495, bottom 5 in the league since Christmas, and the GM is more concerned about brokering deals around the league. Relax, guys. Joseph says trust in Fitzgerald. Oh, yeah, because he's given us so much that now this guy's just trolling, I guess. Nemitz is another wasted pick. Fitz stinks. Matthew, I don't care what pick Cotter was. Keefe needs to hold every player accountable. Very simple. I don't know what that's in reference to. Dire Straits, I will never trust in Fitzgerald. Neither will I. Jay Snow, the glory days are mad long ago. We haven't won a cup in over 20 years. It's true. Joshua, anyone remember tailgating at the Izod Center? Good times. Now we pay $12 for a Taylor ham sandwich at the Rock. One of the biggest things I miss about Brendan Byrne Arena / Continental Airlines Arena, and I've talked about it in depth with many of you, is the tailgating was just amazing, especially the playoff tailgates were just stuff of legend. And it's unfortunate if you never got to experience it. Playoff tailgates were just absolutely legendary. Some of my favorite memories, period. Tailgating at the Rock during tailgating at the old arena during the glory days was phenomenal. what the season tickets run these days, I guess it's a huge variance depending on where you sit, but I'd imagine on the low end, probably a couple grand a seat. Probably a couple grand to, some exorbitant amount of money, depending on where you sit. Beachmaster, how can the Locked On Devils guy get into the locker room? Again, it's I don't have all the answers. The team basically, as far as I know, they could pick and choose whatever they want. They could pick and choose who they let in and who they don't. So for whatever reason, they let him in. They don't let me in. I don't have the answers. They could, they use, again, very vague language to explain to me, because I think I even used, it doesn't even matter. Bottom line is they could pick and choose. They're kingmakers. So it's just like you're the, call it a frat party, right? There is no real system in place. And so at a frat party, if you're the guy at the door, you could let that guy in if you want for whatever reason. And you could tell that guy, nah, that guy, I'm not letting him in. And that's essentially what it is. I've been not let in at the door. Nick, you'd be a perfect Devils rep for Spittin' Chicklets. I don't think they really have team reps. And they Pasha, one of their resident guys, he's a big Devils fan. Shout out to Pasha, a Devils fan who always fights with Biz and Wit whenever they talk about the Devils. Jack, Ace, think we get a win today? I hope so. I really hope so. Oh, my God. Joseph, they have an 80% chance of making the playoffs as per Money Puck. Ace acting like they're in last place. I don't know how they're calculating this stuff, but it doesn't feel like 80%. But you could rely on that and, use that as your guiding hope, I guess, because you clearly have no brain cells of your own. So keep going on sites like Money Puck and whatever else. Look at the percentages and get excited from it. But it's not doing it for me. And that stat of 80% means nothing. Nothing to me whatsoever. Ride and respect. Cotter Scratch, another case of making a move for the sake of it and throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. This franchise has no clue. Stanley Ace, you were denied because you speak truth. The Devils are state-run media at its finest. Probably. And again, I gave up. I've tried for a very long time, multiple times, and I was kind of, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. It pisses me off because it is complete nonsense, but it is what it is. The fix is in. New York, Ace, them phonies know you're a G and they only want yes men in the media. Media is probably in on Fitz's buffoonery. Sometimes it certainly feels like that. It certainly feels like that sometimes. Fitz was all sweaty and nervous at the presser. That's nothing new. And it's crazy. To be sweaty and nervous when you know you're getting nothing but softballs for the most part is crazy. But shout out to Daniel Amoya, a young guy. And I don't know how he got in there either. Again, they let a college kid in there. And he's the only one that asks any sort of remotely real questions. Everyone else gives him complete nonsense. Daniel Amoya still doesn't go for I haven't seen a real scathing one per se, but he's asked pointed questions to the point no one else is asking them. Without him, I'm surprised they haven't thrown him out yet. But he's the only one that asks any sort of real questions. Custo Hockey, what independent media used to cover this team, Ace? I keep forgetting who the older media people used to be in, say, 2016-23. Really, it was just NJ.com or the Star Ledger, I guess, was Tom Gallitti. I think he had that Fire and Ice blog. But in the end, the Devils never really had a huge media following. There was never a ton of coverage around the team, and it's a shame. Hockey's a great sport. We're in a market with tons of other professional sports teams. Hockey always took a back seat, and the team doesn't care to try to expand upon that. So, what was your question? There's a lot of chats in here. I'm trying to keep up. Jace, no, they need an empty barn every night for them to make changes. I don't even know if that would do it, to be honest. I don't know if that would do it. it might send a small message, but it's never going to happen because the masses just don't care enough to do that. And that's fine. Ryan H., no Hughes, no Jonas, no Hamilton out, cap space open and nothing. Michael, turn running with the Devils to cooking with Ace, and we'll talk about all the delicious foods us North Jersey Italian boys love. Oh, boy. I don't know about cooking. Maybe just feasting with Ace. Just go around and just inhale food. I don't know that I want to be bothered, cooking it, but, man. Nomar Fitzgerald's failure to get Zetterlund was telling. I bet you anything he didn't even know Zetterlund was available for trade. It's entirely possible. Would have loved him back, and I know a lot of you would have as well. Ace, I got to try Marty's vodka. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, shit. I'm knocking stuff over. Dirty Devil Vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Highly recommend it. Go to their website. You could find local stores selling it near you. You can also find, you could order it online, and they could ship it to you now, I think, depending on what state you live in. I hate when people say pick a GM. That's the organization's job. That's the dumbest argument. So if Ace says a name, the Devils will hire that guy. I know, right? Like, give me a break. I have to have the solution, too. He's clearly not the answer. Go find someone who is. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Stanley says, Boo's face is too much of an arrogant to bring back a player he traded while the return is not producing as expected. I could see that being a thing to it. Custo, I occasionally text the former NJ Devil who played a bunch of other places, and he said income tax is definitely a thing, but the advantage NJ has is great travel. Stanley says, I'd rather sit on a cactus than spend my Sunday morning on a Rangers podcast. You Ranger fellows are an odd bunch. It is strange. Is there a couple Ranger guys in here now? I'm trying to scan this. They're talking about Sean Avery, and then I have to say the pointer stuff Avery does isn't half bad. Oh, God. I hated Avery as a player. His analysis when he does the pointer on the TV screen doing the breakdowns is hilarious. Hilarious. The first time I saw it was the Devils Rangers game a few months back. I was in tears. He's a funny dude. Why is the sermon? The owners probably like picks prospects because overall they have a low cost, 3 years entry level bridge deal, then team friendly deal. Maybe, but in the end, if they are willing to spend to the cap, it's like great. You have some guys on a value contract. You still have to spend on the other guys, but it is unfortunate that all of our star guys are now well beyond their entry levels, and now Luke's about to get paid. So it's like we wasted all the years of guys at a discount and early on. Vincent, let's talk a little hockey. Is Fitz trying to sneak into the playoffs and have Gritsyuk added on the Black Aces roster? Nothing that he did on deadline day convinces me that he's trying to sneak into the playoffs, to be honest. And I don't think Gritsyuk can come over till after the KHL season. So again, I always say the KHL guys, it's always shady business. Hopefully we see him next year, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that we see him anytime this year. But again, I'm also not convinced he's trying to sneak into the playoffs. I think if he was really trying to get into the playoffs, we would have seen something substantial done on deadline day. And I'm sorry, I refuse to call any of the moves that were made substantial. Not even close. Michael says $1,800 for one seat, I guess. So I guess like the cheapest it starts off at is that's like what, roughly $45 a seat or so, and it goes up from there. Ryder 64, I missed Continental, saw 2 cups there myself. Very nice. Very nice. I was able to be there for the 2003 Cup. and was there in 2000 and 2001 when they had chances to win it, but did not. Yo, Holmes, nothing like springtime playoff tailgating back at the Burn. I was the third car in the parking lot for Game 7 in 03. Very nice. Ash, it's getting so tiring listening to enthusiasm when every time we do have some, it goes to nothing. This team will be a first-round exit unless Markey stands on his head. At this juncture, I would love to be a first-round exit. That means we made the playoffs. I'm very skittish on the ability for the Devils to actually make the playoffs. I think at this juncture, it would be quite an impressive feat, given where they are with the amount of games left and the roster and the injuries, despite whatever the percentages and idiots like that guy, regurgitate, it's going to be very hard to make it. Custo Hockey, I actually think Nemitz will play more because it's an audition for teams this year. NJ will be big on Kyle Connor this summer. He won't sign long-term, and NJ is a spot he'd go. Promise you. That'd be interesting. Matthew says, Ace, pour yourself a tall, dirty devil. It's too early yet. Nicole, you won't play to their narrative, so they won't let you in. It's that simple, I guess. That's fine. Matthew says, hey, is Nicole single? No, Nicole is happily married, you savage. These people are savages in the chat. Ash, how do we change our draft results because we don't know how good they will be, and at the time they look good? I don't understand drafting Russian players that take so long to get here. Unfortunately, most guys are not going to be immediate impact players. You draft guys that you hope 2, 3, 4 years down the line can improve your team. I think a lot of our fans kind of were, I don't want to say confused per se, but because we had such high picks and the team was so bad, like, yes, Jack was a number 1 overall. He played right away. Like, Luke was a number 4. He made an appearance very quickly. And so traditionally, and as your team gets better, it's, your first round draft picks aren't as high of picks, and they're not guys that are meant to be on the NHL roster within a couple years. So, Salayev, we picked him at number 10, a massive defenseman last year. I think he's going to be a monster for us, but he might not be here for a couple more years. Michael, sorry I'm so late. Had to set up for a baby shower. Love you, Ace. Feel your pain. What's up, Michael? Oh, man, we're getting close to puck drop, 25 minutes away. Steven says, Mom said I have a 90% chance of landing Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie. Oh, man. Ari says, stop letting this Joseph dude speak. Someone get a muzzle. Noah, Cody Glass and Sprong debut. Brandon says, I think Daniel was allowed in because he's associated with the hockey writers. Well, but if we're being real, what the hell is the hockey writers? What is that? I can make a website too. The New Jersey Devils writers. I mean, I'm not buying any of the excuses anymore. At this point, I've given up. It's just, they don't want me in the party. I was shunned away at the door of the club. It is what it is. But I'm sorry, the hockey writers what the hell is that? Well, what is the hockey writers? Fitz is soft. Tom Galitti. Mark Everson, Rich Scher. Man, Rich Scher in the Ledger. I used to rifle through the Star Ledger to grab the sports page and see whatever Rich Scher was talking about. Marduk the 12th, you must be an accredited media company and not just a fan-based media source. What exactly is the definition of an accredited media company? Educate me, Marduk. Especially in 2025, what is an accredited media company? Yeah, what makes the hockey writers so special? Tell me. I can make a website and put articles up too. What makes them so special? Matthew says, Cotter in the box with a bottle of Dirty Devil. Fitz needs to be fired. Michael, I'll cook for you guys, the real fans. I'm making 6 pounds of birria tacos today along with 2 trays of baked, is that Ziti's? It says baked cities with homemade gravy. Brendan plays, I'm 19. I've been a Devils fan for life, but have never seen us win. Sad. Oh, my God. All you know is I consider myself a hardcore fan. Then all you pretty much know is pain and misery. Wow. Wait, so that means you were born in what, 2006? Jeez, it makes me feel super old. You were born in 2006. Yeah, so depending on when you became a fan, you may have seen that playoff run. That Taylor Hall dragged us to the playoffs. Alan, Ace, I might have all the viewers beat. Ticket holder since 82. Talk about rough times. Oh, yeah, so you saw the initial rough years, Alan. You've been there since the beginning. You saw the initial trying times for the Devils before they finally had the glory years, and now we're in the trying times again. Andy MC just bought a 2-pack of Dirty Devil on their website. The stuff is cheap. Yeah, and it's very good. Very good vodka for the price, for sure. Dire Straits says Hockey Writers is a dumb blog. Ryan H. May have to go to the kegerator going for this game. Puck Rock Rangers, any scraps today versus the Flyers? I don't know. I'm starting to think that there may have been a mandate to stop fighting too. I mean, it's just crazy how we led the league in fighting earlier in the year, and then we didn't see a fight for like 2 months. The last real fights before Dylan's fight against, well, who did Dylan fight against? Was it it was Utah. The last fights before that were Dylan and Cotter both fought in that December 23rd Rangers game. No fights in between. McDermott always seemed like a good presence. Again, it seemed like the team responded when we were truly embracing heavier, edgier, more violent, when we had fisticuffs. And, we've gotten away from it. I don't know if I find it very odd that a team that led the league in fighting majors, like, almost didn't fight again for the rest of the year. But, it's another mystery. I don't know. Collect records. Hockey writers having access is a mystery, but usually they're not letting anyone in who can't be fired when they ask questions the team won't like. Maybe. Like I said, I've given up on it. It doesn't matter. It's never going to happen. I give up. Catfish Brewer. I've been a Devils fan since 82, and I've never been so mad at this franchise. Go Oilers. Would love to see Adam Henrique win a cup for sure. He was a great soldier for the Devils. Jay Snow, another lifeless performance today coming. Yeah, Dylan fought Liam from Utah. Yo, Holmes, Mel Bridgman's mustache has more testosterone than the entire Devils roster. Custo Hockey, who covers the Devils for the league? Do they even have a writer? The office isn't too far, neither is NHL Network. Imagine they provide some coverage besides a team. I don't know. I have no idea. Brandon, love how the guy who said no dickheads ended up being the biggest dickhead of the season. Ava78, I've been a fan since 87. Sundstrom was my favorite player. Very cool. Johnny Danks, I'll RSVP for Aces post-game live for the New Jersey Devils 24-25 season. Custo Hockey, does Inside Hockey still cover the Devils? I used to read that occasionally. I don't know. I haven't heard of that. The New York Nobody, when it comes to do the Devils have a Larry Brooks, Johnny Laz, or Molly Walker type equivalent? No. There's really no real coverage of the Devils. Like, most of they do like a fake media scrum, and it's like people on MSG staff, Amanda Stein. I don't even know who some of the other people are that ask nonsense questions. And Daniel Amoya from the Hockey Writers, who is the only one that remotely asks real questions. The other questions are just dumb questions for the sake of asking questions. Daniel asks questions that are like, oh, real question. I'm surprised that some of the guys, probably stunned when they get a real question because they're so few and far between. I think technically the official Devils writers are Amanda Stein and Catherine Bogart. Again, both employed by the team. Ryder, do Rangers fans have nothing better to do than hang out in a Devils chat on a Sunday morning? I guess not. Seems that way. Johnny Dank said, I meant Ace's funeral eulogy for the 24-25 season. Oh, man. It's going to be a painful one whenever it happens. What happened to Novo? He was covering the team for NJ.com, and then he got a better gig covering the Giants because football is so much bigger than hockey. So he moved on. Kaylee, I love Annika Devils. I think she's going to be a great reporter one day. Okay. Alex, honestly, I watch the Daily Faceoff shows, and I do like Lazarus, even though he's a Dirty Rags fan. What is WSP? I don't know. I miss Stan Fischler. I think we all miss the Maven. James Israel, Daniel does the Shout at the Devils podcast. He was not happy about the deadline. Nobody who has, again, a functioning brain would be happy about the deadline. It was nothing short of an absolute tragedy. Yo, Holmes, the real question, will Amanda Stein ever stop giggling? Probably not. Catfish Grew, Keefe doesn't like toughness. He is turning us into the Leafs. Soft. It seems he does prefer guys that, McDermott not getting any looks in the lineup anymore. It's unfortunate. I would love to see him in there smashing faces. Dire Straits says the fangirls have entered the chat. Ride and respect, closest Devils had was Novo before he left. Yeah, he asked real questions too. Obviously, he had that little back and forth spat or whatever you want to call it with Lindy Ruff that gave us the golden quote of you don't watch the game very well. Pretty funny. John Mick, we're going to need a 24-25 funeral stream. When the time comes, it'll happen. Pains me. Puck Rock Rangers, don't forget Devils celebrate Ambassador Frank the Tank. Do they? Oh, what's up? What's up? I'm an old man. I don't know all the slang now. Yona, do the Devils have a New York Post writer? I don't think so. Death to Kong, I thought playoff games make money. I don't get the logic behind quitting now. If I had to speculate, I would say, they would have had to bring in, if they brought in real guys that they had to pay real money, Fitz probably told them there is no guarantee to make the playoffs, which there wasn't. I mean, the reality is they could have gotten, players that the fans would have been excited about, had to pay them, and still miss the playoffs, and then also mess up your higher draft pick. So I don't want to get conspiratorial again, but I could see a scenario where they look at everything and say, well, if they're not going to win it and we're going to probably lose and only have 2 or 3 playoff home games, it's better to save that money on the players, get a high draft pick, and talk about how bright the future is. Pre-game is on TNT. Oh, hold on one second. Let me put it on. I forgot. Let me put that on. TNT pregame. TNT. All right, so I'm firing up the whole thing. Yeah, I forgot. Well, the pregame is always not much. Let's see what we got. The New York Nobody. Sorry that I love hockey and enjoy Ace's show. Ace runs a well-oiled machine. I like it here. Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from a Rangers fan. It means a lot. I'm trying to get the game on here. Evan says, I would love for a win today, but we probably won't get one. I hope that's not the case, man. I lost today. I'm going to be, like I said the other day, the loss to Dallas in that fashion with 4.8 seconds left really was, I thought, the headshot that kind of put us on life support. And then the non-existent trade deadline was Fitzy pulling the plug on the life support machine. And we saw them just get crushed by the Jets. Now, this is a chance for the team to respond with the new additions in the lineup. Will they respond? Can they find a win? We're going to find out. Hopefully they do. John M says, bring Daniel on the show. So I'm actually working on what I'm calling, I guess, the preliminary title is a round table that I am trying to get together a bunch of Devils related, quote unquote media people. However, the term media in 2025 is whatever, but I'm trying to get a bunch of people on simultaneously and do a live with all of them just to kind of, pick each other's brains and talk about this season. I'm hoping to do that soon. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But Daniel is one of the invitees on the list. Jeter Toker says, Ace, better wear a black suit to the funeral. I'll always wear my black suit to the funeral. Jason, the guy from Locked On has a degree in journalism and communications. I don't know if they look for that, but in today's era, podcasts are bigger than mainstream media. Listen, in the end, if you're looking for degrees and stuff, like, we've already lost, man. It is crazy. Like, if that's what they want, cool. Use reasons not to use people. But I do agree that in today's era, podcasts and online stuff is the new media. And you've seen that pendulum swing for everything from, politics to any sort of topic, whether they're, people are into gardening, whatever it is. Mainstream media is basically on life support. And this new kind of media comprised of social media and all these other platforms is really taking over. But hockey is, or at least the Devils are still operating on, they want you to work for a print newspaper that doesn't exist. I don't know, and I don't care. Custo Hockey, NY Post got rid of the Devils beat in 2013 when the guy left. They actually cut NJD and Bergen record for a bit too, but it's back now. But rumors it'll be an AI writer for all sports next year. Oh my God. Oh my God. The New York Nobody, you going to bring your Rangers fan friend Chris on the show for our last meeting, April 5th? I may do that. Tom Fitzgerald, Ace, email me. We'll work out a press pass for you. Sure. Evan says Amanda Stein is a fan of the team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you can be a fan and be a legitimate media, someone covering them legitimately. Listen, I'm a huge fan of the team, but I believe I could do that job of, asking questions and whatever it is in the press, whatever you want to call it, capacity. Keeping up with the Devils, just get the W today and hold your ground. My profile picture says all, which is, I can't see what that is because it's small on my screen. Wait, what was the other app? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this pregame Max. Okay, that's how I think I got it last time. Ace, do I watch it? Do you watch what? Johnny Dank said, Ace, you should stay live with us so we could all watch together. No, I think my feed's always going to be behind, and I can't take it. I just can't do it. That's why a lot of times I'm not too active. A lot of people will jump into the chat of the game, and I can't do it because they'll talk about plays before I see it, because I usually watch the Devils games on MSG on Fubo. And like lately it used to only, I feel like, be like 30 seconds behind. Now it's like a full minute behind. I would love Sam Bennett. They're talking about Sam Bennett. I would love Sam Bennett. Costa, do you like Alex C's coverage of NJD? I don't know who that is, but I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the analytics stuff. I think the analytics is the cause of a lot of nonsense. Such a wonderful tournament, so exciting. Brandon, I think the term you're looking for are Devils content creators or influencers. I hate the word influencer. I've always hated it. I think it's ridiculous. To me, it's a totally cringe-worthy word. but I guess content creators would be a good one. Yeah, content creators. Devils content creators. Oh no, a degree in journalism. Invite Wu. Sam Wu was also invited. And yeah, I'm trying to do it Monday night. We'll see. We will see what happens. I'm trying to get it together for the next couple of days. Sam Wu, longtime Devils fan. I don't really know where he stands on this current team. I don't know. I have to believe he's probably pretty upset as well. He lived through the glory years and saw quality teams, and we're so far from it now. I'm surprised people still watch mainstream. What is there even to watch? Catfish Grew, what is this team's identity? Your guess is as good as mine, my man. Let's go Devils podcast. Let's go Devils. That's all we got left, right, fellas? Let's go Devils. But my God, what a lineup today. What a lineup we have out there today. Media, there are so many more options out there that aren't BS. No, of course. But, hockey and the Devils are still, maybe I can maybe I could somehow find a way to bring back the print version of the Star Ledger and land the Devils gig. Then I think they would have to let me in. Tom Fitzgerald, speaking of Markey, he has to be traded at the deadline, but I've talked him out of it. Choking, we identify as choking. Sam Wu has crashed the party. Louis, the other Devils media sucks. I really enjoy listening to Ace and the Hockey Skate down here on YouTube for overall hockey 32 thoughts and the Hockey PDO cast. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Michael S. Ace has a better shot of getting into a White House presser than the Devils locker room. I think so. Metalander, I think Trey Matthews is currently a student in Arizona. Locked On is a network of podcasts. Well, whatever it is, Locked On is more important than I am because, good for him, man. I'm glad they don't block everybody. They just block me, but it's fine. Let's go. Sam Wu is a big fan of running with the Devils. Thanks for that, Sam. No G, bro. It's running. No G. John, yo, Ace, and the chat. We got Hockey East playoffs starting this week. BU playing Saturday night. If y'all wanted to catch Yegorov, LaChance, McCarthy, I'm hitting the game. Where is the game? I was at a BU game a few weeks ago. I saw Yegorov live, and the kid's a beast. I think he is the future of the Devils in net. Some of you guys are dicks in the comments. My God. Some of you are just brutal. There was some really bad stuff in here today. I sometimes I put it up by accident because sometimes I literally, not to get into all the, break the fourth wall and explain all the stuff, but sometimes I load comments without reading them first, and sometimes bad stuff gets up there. And now I'm trying to do a better job of filtering it, but I'm trying to also stay fast. Dire Straits, Samu, and Ace, old school fans. Yeah, we lived through the glory years. We saw Stanley Cups, we saw perennial playoff contenders, and we saw a proud franchise. And we have fallen so far. Devils have to win. I certainly hope so. Louis, Tom Fitzgerald, Wine Depot. Ace would lose his press pass the first day for being a straight shooter. Probably. Sam was calling out the Devils. Good for Sam. He should. It says playoffs or bust. Taylor Hall. Very nice. That's my motto. Is this a fake account now? I can't tell. This Let's Go Devils podcast, Sam Wu, he hates HBSE in this team. Now I think it might be someone playing games. I can't tell. I'm in the program I'm in. Is that really someone from there or someone like, I don't know. I can't tell. In the program I can't check anything right now, so I don't know. It's funny. Let's Go Devils 95, 2000, 2003. I saw a pic on Instagram that Dylan and Delorier were having words during warmups. Oh, we could only hope. We get that bout. Would love to see it. Would love to see McDermott fight him more. Honestly, Delorier is a legit heavy. I would say Dylan's, I guess, kind of a heavy due to his size, but like McDermott is, I would say, the next category above. I don't know. Custo Hockey, I've talked to the appropriate parties, Custo Hockey. It's never I'm never getting let into the party. I was denied at the door multiple times, and it is what it is. Luke, there's next to zero hockey coverage, and what we get is usually shite. That's what's so great about this and a few others like Skate Down. The New York Nobody, reach out to Locked On Devils. They might give your show a mention. They gave us one when we started our pod. I don't need a mention from anybody. But I invited the host to this roundtable of, I guess, the roundtable that I will hopefully put together in the next couple of days. We'll have a lot of, I guess the phrase is, Brandon, I think, said it, content creators, which I don't really like that phrase either. But trying to get a bunch of people together and have a little conversation. Biz is talking about the Devils. Chris Wilson, Trey's an official journalist. That is why he and the kid from Shout at the Devils get in. But again, in 2025, what is an official journalist? What does that mean? What does an official journalist mean? Antonio says, Devs are making playoffs and winning 2 rounds. Fitz trades will go down in history. Prezify says that's delusional. Custo Hockey, a lot of former Devils writers left the beat jobs for jobs with other teams in the league. I know some I follow are silent now because they work for the league. All right, that's it, guys. That's it. The game's about to start. Hopefully they find a way to win. They were deserted on deadline day, and that night they were smashed by the Jets. Hopefully they come back, respond with some heart, some fight. Hopefully we see some fisticuffs. Hopefully we see a team that says, front office be damned, we're going to get to the playoffs despite you not helping us. And that's it. Thank you all for coming out. I will be back after the game. Hopefully we are drinking. Hopefully we're drinking Victory vodka and not loser beverages. In closing, Luke says official journalist has to have a degree from a school or hired by a recognized publisher. But again, what is the definition of a recognized publisher? I'm sorry. And it's not just me being a hater. I think the criteria is nonsense. What is a recognized publisher? Could I make my own publishing company? I mean, it's all just nonsense, but whatever. That's it, guys. Victory vodka. No misery margaritas. I'll be back after the game. Hopefully they find a way to win. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. I'll be back after. And is my feed already that far behind? Philly already scored? Are you guys kidding me? Is that a joke? If that is, my feed is super behind. Are you guys messing around? The game didn't even start on my thing yet. Are you guys kidding? Did they score or not? Are you guys playing? All right, that's it. I can't tell if you guys are messing around. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.